Crime is down.
But you're doing exactly my point here. What happens is each time people show statistics, everyone's saying crime is a problem. That doesn't make them feel better when you say, but it's not. They need a cop
economy.
But again, that's a platitude. What does it mean?
The other thing that I will say is about AOC. She's been demonized as this too progressive, far left person.
AOC is definitely too left for the majority of the country.
Welcome back to Iconic Insights. We're glad you're here. Let's dive right in. Sunny Hostin is clearly getting frustrated as her co-hosts continue to challenge her irrational remarks. It seems like she's been placed on the show just to take the heat. You can even see her realizing it. Take a look as Sunny attempts to argue that AOC and her policies aren't extreme left, only for Alyssa to drop a truth bomb that leaves Sunny totally speechless. Check this out.
What does the party have to do to reconnect with voters?
Go ahead. Why are you asking the Republican? I think the Dems should start. I got thoughts, but I'll let you start.
I can start. Look, young people were still the age group with the highest support for the Democratic candidate this year. So we can start there. I don't think that young people have necessarily left the Democratic Party. Yes, there have been some gains made by the Republican Party, but by and large, young people are voting democratically. The other thing that I will say is about AOC, she has been demonized by the right, and she's been demonized as this too progressive, far left person. And I want to try to set the record straight, because if she is too progressive, then the Democrats really are going to lose the working class, because this is her platform. The key issues: healthcare for all people, affordable housing, rebuild the unions, federal job guarantee, free public college, create clean energy jobs, pay parental leave, and expand protections for the LGBTQ+ community.
Defunding the police opening. Borders, allowing men to compete in women's sports, and raising taxes to 90% to pay for all these so-called free programs. Yeah, none of that sounds extreme left, right? Come on, give me a break. Anyway, let's move on.
If that is too progressive for this country, then that's a problem for the Democrats, and that's a problem, quite frankly, for this country.
That used to be a description of a liberal.
But the devil's
healthcare for all should be an everybody issue.
But the devil's in the details, because a lot of this country does not support, for example, the Green New Deal, which would absolutely crush jobs across this country, wreak havoc on the economy.
It would create millions of jobs, actually.
It would actually make international travel virtually impossible to do because of some of the regulations that have been in place. From my perspective, as a Republican who didn't support Trump, this may sound weird, I think Democrats focus too much on Trump. People who were going to be with Donald Trump were going to be with Donald Trump. There needed to be more of a, this is who we are, this is what we're proactively fighting for. And I can think of 3 or 4 policies that were laid out by the vice president. She talked about this support for elderly parents. She talked about these first-time home buyer payments. But they need a
economy.
But again, that's a platitude. What does it mean? You know, and I didn't know that by
a 90-page
white paper. But in this world we live in, when you have 3 months especially, I don't know that people knew what she was for. And then a lot of her positions in 2020, she was on the complete opposite side of now.
Did you hear that snarky remark she made? If that's considered too left for America, then America's the problem. And that's the core issue. With the Democrats, they don't engage with people, they talk at them. They don't ask what Americans really want. They force their agenda on everyone and expect compliance. If someone doesn't agree, they shame them, name call, and brand them as evil. That's the playbook they followed, and it completely backfired in the last election. But hold on, it gets better. Sunny tries to defend herself by mentioning her opportunity economy, but Alyssa shuts her down with a solid rebuttal. That's not a policy, it's just a catchphrase. What even is that? I almost fell out of my seat laughing. Now, let's watch Sarah Haynes break down exactly what I've been saying. The Democrats constantly dismiss real concerns as irrelevant. And sure enough, Sunny demonstrates it right there. Check this out.
Well, I think Rahm Emanuel hit it right on the head in an op-ed for the Washington Post. He had 2 parts that really kind of stuck with me. He talked about with inflation stinging, school absenteeism skyrocketing, students' academic scores plummeting, Democrats consume themselves in debates over pronouns, bathroom access, and renaming schools, and adopted terms such as care economy and Latinx to win over voters. And I think what it comes down to is oftentimes Democrats tend to tell people what to care about,
rather than listening to what they actually care about. Because he goes on to say, they tiptoe around issues like crime, immigration, homelessness, and then they quote stats, while meanwhile there's an uptick in carjackings and you have to lock up deodorant in CVS.
Crime is down.
But you're doing exactly my point here. What happens is each time people show statistics, everyone's saying crime is a problem. That doesn't make them feel better when you say, but it's not.
Did you catch Sunny's expression? That's pure comedy right there. The elitist, condescending attitude of the Democrats is pushing people away, and they're so out of touch, they don't even realize they need to tone it down. But here's the thing, they can't help it. These people live by stats, polls, and whatever the so-called experts tell them. Meanwhile, regular folks make decisions based on what's happening in their daily lives. You can't tell me crime is down when, under Trump, I don't remember seeing CVS and Walgreens locking up every item behind glass. But now, it's like they've turned them into Fort Knox. So no, I don't care what your experts and their charts say. I can see firsthand that things are worse than before. And that's the real problem with Democrats. When you walk around acting like you're superior, like you have all the answers, you lose the ability to connect with people. If someone has a concern or viewpoint you don't agree with, you brush it off as irrelevant or unworthy of consideration. That's not leadership. That's straight up narcissism. Now, let's watch Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar make some truly cringe-worthy comments about RFK. Watch this.
That make America healthy again. And it's been gaining ground with folks. But let me remind everyone that long before him, Maha was already Michelle Makes America Healthy. That's what she was doing when she was first lady. So it's not an unknown concept.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
So
But
yeah.
now he's out there saying this. But do you actually believe anything he says? Tell the truth. I mean, they overturned Roe v. Wade. He said he wasn't going to put anybody in who back to Project 2025. A lot of people that he's put into this new administration believe that stuff. He said that grocery prices would magically come down. He already admitted that they can't very easily come down. Remember when during COVID, he said no masks. You don't need masks. That was also BS. He attacked Dr. Fauci, who was really trying to help everybody. He pushed deworming medication for horses on us. And the worst, the pièce de résistance, as they say, is he sent COVID tests to Putin.
Yeah.
That really ticked me off.
Oh, and one more thing. What real benefits did Michelle Obama's health initiative actually bring? Let's talk about that. Nothing. Kids are still struggling with obesity. Rates of ADHD, autism, and learning disabilities are through the roof. Clearly, whatever Michelle Obama tried didn't make a difference. Now, let's dive into Joy Behar's absurd viewpoint. Calling ivermectin a horse dewormer is completely dishonest. It's one of the most widely used treatments around the world. RFK Jr. even explained it on the Joe Rogan podcast. In order to fast-track vaccines under federal authorization, the government had to make sure no other effective treatments were available. That's why they discredited ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine to push through a $200 billion vaccine plan. It was straight-up corruption, led by Dr. Fauci. That's why Trump needs to investigate him, especially after Fauci admitted the whole mask mandate and 6-foot social distancing rule were just made-up guidelines. No science behind it, just guesses. Unbelievable. Now, let's watch Sarah Haynes try to make a solid point to Sunny. Maybe we shouldn't keep feeding people processed junk and then rely on Big Pharma to fix it with a bunch of pills. Maybe we should look at other options. Why do Asian communities live longer without popping pills for everything? But Sunny, she responds with the worst possible argument ever. Watch this.
One thing, Sunny, because I understand what you're saying about Western medicine, but there are Eastern traditions that are thousands of years old. I have a Chinese Western trained doctor who has pointed out where the Western medicine gets it wrong.
Right.
We live in a country where crap is put in our food that makes us sick, and then pharmaceuticals come in and throw pills at it. So we're living in a cycle where it feeds the corporate greed to keep us not well.
I'm not against Eastern medicine, but I've been married to a Western medicine doctor for 26 years, and I trust him over anybody else telling me that what's making people have certain ailments, or if I need a knee replacement, I should just put maybe some kind of like herbal patch on it.
Come on. This is such a bad faith argument. No one's suggesting you just slap a herbal patch on your knee if you need a replacement. That's not the point. Other cultures emphasize clean, healthy eating. And when you build a society around that, it does more for overall health than any Ozempic or pill ever could. But here's the issue. In our modern culture, we've placed feelings above facts, and it's starting to show in some pretty concerning ways. We've embraced body positivity to such an extent that we're told being overweight isn't necessarily unhealthy. While the message of self-acceptance is important, there's a fine line between encouraging confidence and ignoring the reality of health risks. We're now in a place where many people don't feel the need to address their weight or health issues simply because they don't want to offend anyone. On top of this, we've normalized a sedentary lifestyle. No exercise, no focus on fitness, just an endless cycle of fast food and convenience. And then we wonder why people are turning to quick fixes like Ozempic, expecting it to magically solve everything. They take it daily without considering the long-term effects, hoping for a shortcut to health and weight loss. But these quick fixes are rarely the solution to deeper, more fundamental problems. It's just a temporary band-aid for a much bigger issue. In the end, the conversation around health has become a punchline, and characters like Sunny are now the show's punching bag. It's almost sad to watch. What do you think? Leave a comment below, and if you liked this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more.